Hi, my name's Phil Godwin. I'm an instructor at Ocean Throw. That's ROA Powerboat Training Centre based here in Beaulieu-sur-Mer in the south of France. Now it's a great place to go boating, but there are some regulations you need to be aware of. So in this video, what I'm going to do is take you through a few of those so you have a great day out on the water and stay safe at the same time. So in this video, we're going to look at the regulations between the Bay of Beaulieu and the Port of Nice, including the Rade de Villefranche. We've taken these regulations from the Block Marine publication, which is a kind of guidebook that covers all the ports along the coastline with plans of the port and the regulations within, and also all the services that are provided within those ports. And the SHOM charts, which are the SHOM charts, which are the official charts produced by the French Hydrographic Office. And we've also picked up these leaflets from the Fair Maritime offices and the harbour offices, the capitaneries along the coast. The one on the left is about speed limits along the coastline, and the one on the right is about the rules within the Rade de Villefranche. But if you go in your local capitanary office, the local port office there, they'll have a similar pamphlet for the area you're in. And these are the people we want to keep on the right side of. This is a vessel of the Gendarmerie Maritime that patrols along the coastline. And we also see the police on PwC jet skis. This is an officer from the Monegasque police force. They're generally very friendly. They're just there doing their job and trying to keep you safe. And it's probably a better job than most policing jobs, I'd imagine. Now, there is a 3-knot speed limit enforced in the ports along the coastline. So really what that means is you need to be going along at just a fast walking pace. And it's the same as driving a car through a built-up area. You just want to be aware that somebody might pull out of their space in front of you. There might be something unexpected, or it's just generally courteous not to cause a lot of waves and wash, which could upset somebody just relaxing or doing some jobs on their boat. Now there's a coastal speed limit, and that is that you need to keep a speed of less than 5 knots when you're within 300 meters of the shore. So 5 knots, that's 5 miles an hour or 7 or 8 kilometers an hour. And this may be signaled by yellow buoys, like this one in the picture. But if there aren't any buoys, then this speed limit still applies. And you may find that round a headland where there aren't any buoys, then you need to be aware of the speed limit in that area as well. But this speed limit is also applied for many off-lying rocks or islands. So if there's a small island or islet, not quite an inhabited island, but something small, then that speed limit could be drawn from there as well. And also port entrances, that's quite a thing that's forgotten, that even if your port entrance is usually quite a distance away from the actual coast, but the speed limit is 300 meters from that entry. And I think you probably understand the reason for it. There's obviously people swimming, etc., close to the shore, but these are some markings that you might not be aware of. This one's a float or a buoy that's towed by someone who's usually either snorkeling or using a mask and to spear fish. So if you see one of those, that's you need to obviously give that a wide berth. And the coastline is frequented by small boats, sailing schools, which are often actually further out than 300 meters as well. So do try and be courteous to those craft. As you mentioned, the 300-meter limit is signaled by the yellow buoys. And here in this little picture, you can see the outer line of the 300 meters marked, and also where the two boats are going in, they're using a channel that's marked by cone shape and can shape buoys. Now, often these channels are reserved for a specific purpose. They might be used by a tender to a restaurant. So if you've booked a table at a restaurant, they might come out through that channel to pick you up. So if you do want to approach the beach, that's the way to do it, to use the channel. But do check you're allowed to do that. Sometimes that's signaled on the first buoys that you come to in the channel. It tells you whether it's private or which type of boats are allowed to use that channel. So it's quite heavily enforced, the speed limit. And as you can see, there's a fine of €3,750 and or a 6-month prison sentence. So it's I've never heard of the actual the 6-month prison sentence being enforced, apart from one case which did result in a fatality, and the person did go to prison for that. Now the Rade de Villefranche is a large open bay just to the east side of Nice, and it's a very popular anchorage, but not everybody realizes that there is a speed limit within it, and it's actually marked by some green markings of painted markings on the rock faces on either side of the bay. And there's an imaginary line drawn between those two markers. And to the inshore side of that, it's a 5-knot speed limit. And this is again detailed on the SHOM chart, the SHOM chart. And there you can see it highlighted in zone 1. There's a 5-knot speed limit. And on the chart there in the diagram to the side of it, you can see that the 5-knot speed limit is detailed there from Point Madame to Point Pilon. Now, seaplanes such as these are, a common sight along the coast in the all year round, really, not just the summer months. And they may be practicing, or they may be actually drawing water to drop on fires for a real fire. And again, this is listed in the on the side of the chart, or in the Block Marine book as well. And you can see that the part highlighted there, Zone 3, the Rade de Villefranche and the Baie de Beaulieu are both used by seaplanes to get water for fighting forest fires. And it tells you to look at the sailing directions, and the sailing directions basically tell you to leave the bay clear for the aircraft to skim the surface to pick the water up. So you can see on the chart there, it's actually it's shown that it's the whole of the bay that's used by these aircraft. You'll see in this video, they don't actually land, they just skim the surface of the water, take off again, fully laden. And if they're doing a training run, what they'll actually do is just drop the water back down again. Like so. If you don't see them do that, then they're actually off on a real to drop the on a real run to drop the fire. To drop the water on a forest fire. Either way, just make sure you leave the bay clear for them to practice or actually do their very important job. Now, another way you can find out your regulations is to use a chart plotter. That's a boating sat nav, if you like, and that will tell you the regulations as well. This is a Navionics software. It's actually from an app that's been downloaded to a mobile phone. And if you zoom in on that, what you find is the regulation stated for you there. And the Bay of Beaulieu, there's actually a no anchorage zone, which is indicated by some large yellow buoys, similar to this one in the picture. And what they do is make a shape where within that area you're not allowed to anchor. It's actually commonly thought that this is something to do with where the seaplanes will land, but they'll actually use any area inside of the bay. You can see it detailed on the on this guidebook. And what they've done years ago is lowered in some concrete structures with the idea that they'll create an artificial reef for marine life to grow on. And there it's shown the area in Beaulieu Bay where the artificial reef is. Now, the port of Nice is a very nice port, but often people are a little bit apprehensive of entering the port because of the large vessels that are moored up within, the cruise ships and Corsica ferries. And you can see on this picture that the ferries and the cruise ships use the outer basin, but there's a very nice port within, past on the inner side, when actually now the tram that runs all the way to the airport comes right into the port, so it's quite a useful port to visit. And there is a signalling system in place, and it's at the entrance to the port. There's a traffic signal, which is a line of 3 vertical red lights. And if these flash on, then it means don't enter the port. Or if you're inside the port already and the smaller traffic signal that's more like the size of a conventional traffic light flashes on, then that means don't leave the port. You can always call through to the Capitanery office to check whether it's safe to leave or not if you're a little bit worried about it. So hopefully you found this video useful. We are going to produce another one detailing the regulations between the Cap d'Antibes and the Ile de Lérins. That's a very popular anchorage, and there are some regulations that you need to be aware of around there. So please do like and subscribe to our channel to find out some more information. Thanks very much for watching.